welcome everybody to another edition of the Junkman Works on Something or Does Something Live. I really don't know what to call these. Hey, if you're in the chat, leave me a message. I'm monitoring the chat. I can see it on my phone here, and I'll answer any questions, or if you want to give me some comments or heckle me, do whatever. I got some thick skin here. Anyways, hopefully we got some good audio going here. Got my mic pretty close. Hopefully you don't get too many loud noises from me working near here. But what we're going to do is do a little brake job here. Replace some brake rotors and brake pads. I got doing a brake upgrade on this car here. And I'm just going to show you how to do it. And we're going to just talk about things as I go. It's kind of how I run these live streams. It's just an experiment. See how this goes. And you know, I really like doing these things, so I guess we'll kind of get started here. A little bit of house cleaning here. I am working on some scripted videos. I know I said that in my last live stream if you were in there. Just finding the time, and to be honest, just kind of running out of juice. Got to get inspired. I mean, I am inspired. I have some scripts written, but I got to get inspired to do the filming and get that creative juices going, and it's hard to turn that stuff on because I don't think I'm that creative. Just do this as a hobby. Some other things, so be waiting for that. Some other things, don't forget to donate, super chat. It'll highlight your comments. Donate me $1 or $2 if you want. Helps me make better videos. Well, anyway, we'll kind of get started here. This is nothing special of a car, just a 2001 Impala. And I already got my lug nuts off, so I can just take the wheel off here. Just got it here for, for show here. These are some brakes I put on when I bought the car, and they're getting a little worn out. I mean, the pads aren't down to the squealers, but this car is our trip car. Doesn't get driven a lot, so they rust up and then they shine up, and I'm getting a little bit of pulsating, and they might be, well, I don't know if they're warped, but they got some spots on there, that. But plus, I've been wanting to do this brake upgrade anyways because I've used this company, and I'm not sponsored. This is not a sponsored stream. I just like these products. I've used them before. Give them a shout out, Max Brakes. The stuff's made in Canada, and they ship real fast, have tons of applications, and they're very reasonably priced. They're not much more than a quality OEM brake rotor and pad set here. So that's why I'm doing it. And like I said, had some experience with these before, and I really like them and wanted to get them on this car because some of the mountain driving I do, want good brakes. Got them on pickup and car, everything. But anyway, this is going to be pretty simple here. Disc brakes are very easy. I have another car and such that has drum brakes. I might live stream that just because most people, drum brakes are kind of becoming a thing of the past. I'll put some little light on here so you can kind of see it good. Oh, I got some people in the chat. Got Furworks there. My buddy, I was actually on Discord with him. I tweeted, sent him a picture of my setup here. It's pretty jank, but he runs a live stream with his girlfriend, does some knitting videos, and they're very good. He's got really high production values. I aspire to be as good as him. But anyway, he's hopped in here and telling me my audio's good, so that's good. Okay, well, first things first, if you're unfamiliar with doing a brake job, I mean, it's on modern cars, and modern by I mean late 80s and up, real easy. It's only a couple bolts. The calipers can be held on a couple of different ways. On GMs like this, they have a bracket, and then the caliper is then bolted to the bracket, and that's what it slides on. I'm going to take those off because I got to take the bracket off to get the rotor off, and then it's a matter of just putting them back on. So it's really, literally a matter of about 4 bolts. I loosened these before just so I didn't have to work so hard on stream here. So I kind of cheated, but, same, doesn't matter. and also these, well, it also depends on the car, but how they slide. But like I said, these bolts are also some sliding pins generally, and then the pads like clip into the oh, what am I trying to say? Into the caliper here. Sorry for making some noise here. Does it come in factor? No, I did that. I mean, yes, it's kind of a, what do they call it? Kind of a bro thing to do, but I don't know. I just thought kind of looked good. Okay, and before I do this, I always forget this part. Some kind of a strap to then, I'm going to have to hang the caliper up for the, and let me see. That's the thing. You got to get these pins out. Of course, I don't necessarily need to do that right now. Actually, I'll only need to do that later. Sometimes you gotta press that piston in a little bit. There we go. Maybe. Oh yeah. And sometimes it's got a little bit of pressure on there. And there we go. Get the pins out. I will grease these. I always grease these again because they slide on there. And there we go. It's because that piston's all. And these rotors have a bit of a groove on them. So, oh, by the way, I mean, it should be painfully obvious, but I have this up on jack stands and everything. 2 jack stands plus the jack. So we're all safe here. I know I didn't say that at the beginning of the video. I'm going to have to press that puck back again. But let's hang this up so we're not hanging on our, twisting our brake hose. Okay. And then like I said, it's just a couple of short bolts. And, you know, if I didn't want to, I could have used my air ratchet and such, or an electric tool, but it'd make a lot of noise. And again, I loosened these before because I didn't want to have to sit there and horse on them. And the last time I did this, these bolts came out really easy because the last time I did it, I put a little anti-seize on them because honestly I wasn't quite sure when the next time, how long this would be do these, and it's been, you know, 6, 8, at least 6 years, 6 to 8 years, like I said, and that tells you about how much I drive this car. Like I said, this is not, whoop, not my beater. Well, there you go. Set those there, and yeah. Anyway, on GMs, that's how the brackets come out in the pads. As you can see, there's a lot of meat left on these things. However, like I said, I was having a little bit of trouble with the rotors seem a little. I got something, and while you're in here, you kind of want to just check your boots and you know, hub bearings here. I've replaced these, so I'll get rid of the car before those go out again. But they kind of start growling. I'm looking at them here. Yeah, I do see where the pads had kind of, well, you're not gonna be able to see this on camera, but there's a little bit of a darker spot here, and I can see where the little vent hole, like I said, it's hard, it's gonna be hard for you to see on camera, but the little slot here where it sat for a long, well, for extended periods of time, and every time it slips past there, it must be kind of glazed or something, and that's kind of the issue I was having. And but plus, like I said, I just wanted to put some fancy brakes on two because they're just a lot better, safer. Got a, got a little one now and want to make sure he's as safe as we can be. And I'm just going to, a little cleanup here. Make sure those brackets can lay flat on there. Get rid of some of that grease. Or, not grease, but a little bit of grime, just road grime. Do this. Sure my rotor can, my new rotor can sit flat on there, flush, and when you bolt it up, be good. If I wasn't upgrading, they could be reground. Yes, they could, and that possibly would help. It's getting harder and harder for to find places that will grind brakes, to be honest, because a lot of shops they want to just sell you brakes, and I don't know why I'm doing this because I already did get the shipping oil off these. Any new rotor obviously is going to have that. But anyway, that's what they'll look like. And again, I have experience with these, so I know what I'm getting into. And you know what, I got anti-seize still on there actually, so we'll these here. Sometimes the hardest thing is to get the bolts started when you're kind of backwards. And I know I'm right in your way here, so. So I didn't know how doing this live would really work, because I don't have, that's another thing I'd like to try to improve on, run a 2-camera setup, but then I got to have a second person to switch cameras, because I do have a second webcam that I could set up facing back this way, and then you could kind of watch what I'm doing back here. But anyways, got some more people in here. What do we got? Furworks was kind of graying. It's like, yeah, it's kind of a hard time. You know, actually, I find that places that'll you can find more places that'll regrind rotors in kind of in like more rural-like areas rather than more metro areas, which kind of seems counterintuitive because typically your metro areas are gonna have. You guys, I'll just tell you right now, I'm gonna, torque them to feel like that, and then I'm actually gonna get my torque wrench out later, not now, because it's just gonna prolong things. Before I totally button this, put the wheel back on for good. And but let's see, the other thing, I'm going to clean this grease up. And you know what? I forgot to get that out ahead of time. It's a thing. I thought I had everything I needed, but actually they don't look too bad. I mean, the grease isn't like dirty, so the dust boots were doing their job. And it's not like the brakes were sticking or getting hot or nothing. So they were sliding on the pins just fine. But before I put those back in, I'll have to get into my cabinet and get some grease. Okay, next thing I got to do, and I have a C-clamp here, is what I'm going to use to press that puck bang in. And I know, all you experts out there, there's a tool for doing this. I just don't have it because it's like I don't have it. This works. Easy thing to do, or well, it's sort of easy. Gotta have three. Sometimes it feels like you gotta have 3 hands to do this, but and I opened up my clamp too far. That stays. Put the brake pad on there. I'm gonna sort of hold it here so I can get. But yes, I know there's a special tool, and actually I know it's not that expensive, but again, I don't have it, and to be honest, if you just, because if the piston doesn't want to go back in there easy, it means you got other problems, and it's pushing in there just nice and easy. We're pushing the fluid back up into the reservoir, which is actually another thing I may do on this car is a brake flush, but again, I don't have a power bleeder, so kind of got to do it the old-fashioned pump method, and that takes 2 people, so probably won't live stream that. Okay, and again, it's as simple as that. I mean, yes, the tool makes it so you don't have to hold it in a cockeyed way. Let's see, I'm just gonna set that there, but I pushed it back in. So let's see, I guess I'm not keeping up with the chat very well. I'll look at it while I open this box here. Hate that shipping. Oh, that shipping oil. Yes, it's all over your hands, and oh, sit down here. Getting too old. Oh yeah, the C-clamp. Yes, an integrated park brake. So like on the rears, that's a little bit more difficult to do. So yeah. Okay. My new pads, take it out of pair. And obviously we're only going to do one side because unless you want to, I don't know how long it would take me, 20 minutes or something, intermission, to set up my camera on the other side. You're only gonna see one side, but like I said, once you've seen one side, it's you've seen it all, kind of thing. And hopefully they gave me the right pads. So that's another thing, I guess. The nice things about GMs is they clip in here, and for whatever reason, I'm having a little bit of trouble here getting into the clip. Oh, there we go. Like I said, but they, yeah, there we go. Just kind of, it's because you gotta get, yeah. And oh, the other nice things about these pads, I guess I kind of forgot, is they have this little anti-squeak like pad. I don't even know what it's made of, but it's feels like kind of a rubberized fiber material. But anyway, so when it moves a little bit on the puck or the piston, it's not gonna, you don't have to put that brake grease on and everything, which can be kind of messy, and then other brake pad companies don't put it in the box, and you get all this far, and if it's your only car, you can't get to the store to buy it, or you end up being, I'll just take a chance, and that chance is, well, it doesn't. You have a annoying squeak, and it's, and you're the annoying person. Okay, I'm gonna just leave that there. I gotta go off camera for a minute here. Gets just a little bit of grease, just to grease those up. And gotta go around my setup here, so bear with me. just a little bit of, I don't need too much on this. There we go. Just enough to make sure it, these will slide real nice. Like I said, wasn't having any problems with this before, but it doesn't hurt to clean them up and make sure. And that's another thing. Kind of make sure your little dust boots are are in good shape, because those are what keep the dirt out of there and keep these functioning. Because if you ever get a stuck caliper, you'll wear one side of the pad, and in this case, like the inside pad, because that's the piston side, and the out one. That's how you know if they weren't sliding. Is generally you'll have uneven pad wear, and then a little bit poor brake performance because of that. Because it's not doing a squeezing action necessarily. And and you know what? Just another thing. I can stick it partially in there. Let me where we go. Put a little bit of anti-seize on. And I use the higher temp, and a dab will, what this stuff, a dab will do you. Should have done it before I put them in there. But the high temp stuff, and honestly, I'm actually just making it better for the second guy, because chances are these will be the last brakes that I put on this car, maybe, given how long I can make brake pads last, because I'm not hard on them. Yeah, so, I don't know, anybody got any unique stories? I guess, something I thought about mentioning is, modern cars are almost all set up in a similar fashion to this. But anybody ever dealt with, the older, like Ford brakes, namely their pickups, have kind of the clip, that spring clip deal you gotta clamp in there, or hammer. You gotta hammer it in there. I mean, it just seems wrong. You're sitting there whacking with a hammer and punch, and then you put this little bolt in and keeper, and I swear when you look at it, it doesn't look like that's gonna keep your keep the brake caliper on, but it does. It does. Okay. And again, guys, just gonna hand my icrometer around, not my icrometer, my torque arm wrench, my feel. I'm going to get my torque wrench out and actually do those correctly. And of course, I got to get inside the car, step on the brakes, bring the piston in, and then obviously got to go out. Well, got to do the other side, of course, but then got to go out and brake them in. And these brakes, every manufacturer is going to be a little bit kind of different, I think. So this is for these brakes. They say to do 5 pretty consecutive stops from about 60 mile an hour down to about 5, not coming to a complete stop. Basically putting a bunch of heat into the brakes, doing that about 5 times, then let them cool all the way off. Then go do the same thing, somewhere from between 40 and 60 mile an hour, down to about 5 mile an hour. Don't stop, but let them cool between those stops, and do that about 5 times. And according to the manufacturer, then you're pretty much broken in or bedded in. So, well, I mean, that's it. I knew this wasn't going to take very long because I've done these a lot, and actually took it longer just because I sat here and talked about it. But anyway, I don't know. I guess we could sit here and chat if there's some people in the chat that want to hop in and talk about something. Otherwise, I gotta torque wrench this up, so I can't jag it up, put my wheel back on, take my jack stands out. But I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, this short and sweet little video doing something very mundane. Actually, I have an idea to do some motorcycle brakes and maybe do that live, just because those are kind of quick and easy, simple like this. But honestly, that for people out here they're watching that aren't super mechanical, modern brakes like this, because I don't care whether it is Japanese or domestic, they're all kind of the same. They may have, like, for example, these are using, these are even using a metric, 15 millimeter, okay, a regular old socket. Some might be an Allen, or I think I've even heard of some manufacturers using Torx. But anyway, it's usually a couple bolts, takes the caliper off to swap the pads, and then if it has this mounting bracket like it does, you have to take that off to get the rotor off. But some, there's a backing plate here and not this part here, so it's as simple as just taking the 2 bolts, tying that up, boop, boop, and you're done. So I wouldn't hesitate for somebody who maybe wants to save a little money and try it themselves. There's not that much to screw up. The only thing is going back is you want to make sure these bolts are dang tight, because you don't want them. These are your brakes here. You don't want them backing out of there. So you want to get a torque wrench on those, and just that's about the only kind of specialized tool, but you can get. And people are going to hate me for this, but even the cheap ones are better than nothing when it comes to it, because you don't have to get them right on the money. And honestly, I got to look up in the book to exactly see. I didn't do that ahead of time, but I'm going to do that right now after I quit this. But that's about the only thing that you really want to be careful about, and that's because that's a safety thing. But other than that, if you don't try to touch these with your greasy hands. If you do, brake cleaner, wipe them off and stuff. You don't want a little oil and all that junk on there, and take that shipping oil off. But other than that, it's pretty easy. So I'd recommend people tackle this job. Drum brakes are intimidating because there's a lot of little parts, but they're not that much harder. And I have another car that has some drum brakes. I don't need to replace them now, but if I do in the future, maybe I'll live stream it, or at least just make a video on it, put it up here for you guys. But this is definitely something people can do, because you don't need much fancy equipment. And again, like I said, they make a special tool for pushing that puck in there. But if you got a C-clamp, and this is even bigger than I needed. This is just what I pulled out of the drawer. I don't have a lot of small ones. I usually C-clamps. I usually need the big ones. So I don't know. I'm rambling here. So I think I'm going to call it. I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys watching the archive stream. I hope you liked it. Hope you maybe learned something or inspired you to do this job, because it's not that hard. There's probably tons of other tutorial videos on this out there too. So if you watch mine, and because you can't see behind here the way I have the camera set up, and there's no way I could do it without a second person, go watch those videos. And like I said, it's pretty simple and save you some money. It's not that hard. And if you don't think you did it right, take it in the brake shop and have them inspect it, because you know what they'll do is they'll look at your work and they either say, oh, somebody didn't put these on right, and then they'll fix it, and then you just have them fix it. So it's not that hard. All right, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share this video around, tell your friends, go to my website, do all that good stuff. Shout out, hit that bell. I don't know. YouTube's being funny these days, so give me all the love you can. Thanks. Bye.